I'm just constantly amazed at the energy, the vitality, the dynamism of China. My very first trip to China was in the late 1980s. It was a time in which China was just embarking on its opening up and reform policies. I remember the first time the first city was in Shanghai, and I was just so completely overwhelmed by the sights. So many thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people on the streets riding bicycles. It was amazing to see the energy and the confidence, the dynamism among the Chinese people. A lot of construction ongoing in terms of buildings, so many cranes everywhere. So that was my first glimpse of China, and it was really seeing China at the beginning of its modernization, industrialization, and transformation of society. The biggest, most profound transformation that the world has ever seen. China is in many ways a country of contrasts. When you have almost 45% of the population living in the countryside, to really understand China, the two different China. So China faces tremendous challenges, and I don't think people from the West really appreciate the magnitude of those challenges. So I compliment the Chinese leaders for what they have done in terms of the remarkable rise of prosperity, even for the people in the countryside. But the hundreds and hundreds of millions of Chinese who have been lifted out of poverty in such a short period of time. And of course, the rising middle class in the cities. I mean, just 15, 20 years ago, only about 4 or 5% of the people living in the cities were middle class. Now it's close to 65% middle class. So that's a remarkable achievement that China has demonstrated to the world. I think it's pretty much a continuation and gradual improvement and more opening and reform. The Chinese leaders have been committed to that for quite some time. I was very impressed with the initiatives under President Xi Jinping. Well, obviously the reform and opening up policies of China have benefited not just the Chinese people, but also foreign companies. And these are the win-win situations that we always want to promote. Foreign companies can provide some of the products and services that the Chinese people want. We can provide some of the technology and the services that the Chinese leaders want. By the reforms and opening up, not only does it create better opportunities for the Chinese people, but also creates jobs and opportunities for foreign firms like American companies. And I have to say that when our family was in China, living in China, when I was ambassador, the Chinese people, every part of China, and the government officials were so open and friendly and warm to our entire family. Serving as ambassador to China was one of the highlights of my career.